art of KPIs and make metrics look good in Power BI. So we have a very good speaker, so who have been as a Microsoft Most Valuable Person from Data Platform and Power BI World Championship 2025 finalist, and she is also certified the Power BI data analyst, and she had 8+ years of experience, and she used to be in US. So well, let's welcome Lakshmi. So hi Lakshmi, good morning.
Guys, good morning. Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible. Very good morning to you.
Perfect. Yes. So quick thank you to Ram Prakash if he's still there. I really loved your session. I mean, it was like really eye-opening and very good for basics. And yeah, I'm glad I could start my day like this. Uh,
Thanks, Anna, again.
Great.
I'm here still.
Mhm. Mhm. Perfect. Are we good to go? Can I share my screen?
Yes,
One
over to
minute,
you, Lakshmi.
1 minute. Let me start my recording. Yeah. Hi, Santhanalakshmi. Congratulations
Hi.
for your new company. Like I saw your profile, you got an opportunity at university.
Yes.
Congratulations for that.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, just started. Please.
Let me just quickly share my screen.
Visible. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, let's get started. All right. Let's all take a moment to look at this slide. So the slide is not just a collage of colorful boxes that you just see. So these are KPI cards from various industries. So you can see some from retail industry, some from social media, logistics, stock markets. Each of these card is like a little storyteller. It's either quietly shouting that, hey, the sales are down. Hey, we've hit 98% of our target. These are the things that we need to look into. And that's the beauty of KPIs. They might look tiny, but trust me, they're very mighty. Each one captures a key moment, a decision, or maybe just a celebration. It's like you can say speed dating with metrics. You get the vibe in 5 seconds, and you are either thrilled about it or you have to go ahead and schedule a meeting with them. Welcome to the art of KPIs, or as I like to say, turning data into tiny superheroes. These little cards may look small, but trust me, they pack a punch. Let's get right into it. Before we start, quick introduction about me. My name is Lakshmi. You can scan the QR code to get connected with me in all social media. And I love making dashboards less frustrating and more fun. I was one of the four finalists for the Power BI Database 2025 World Championship that took place here. And if anyone wants to talk about that, we can do this after the session. I am a Microsoft certified Power BI data analyst. I've been certified since 3 to 4 years now. And then I'm a recent Microsoft MVP in the data platform. I got rewarded in the month of June. And I am also a regular contributor to the data community. You will see me posting on LinkedIn, and I have a Medium blog wherein I post little tips and tricks, UI, UX stuff about Power BI and data visualization in general. And I recently got hired as a data analyst in the Institutional Effectiveness Department of Missouri University of Science and Technology. And that has been a dream. Like, I always wanted to work in an education or a healthcare industry because I think they are the industries that really give back, and they have stories about people and then really touch their lives. So I'm really glad that I got that opportunity. Apart from all the professional stuff, on a personal note, I'm a dog mom and I have a corgi. You might hear him barking randomly behind me. And then both of us love go on adventures. And the best part is both of us are foodies. Apart from this, I'm a huge advocate of diversity and inclusion. And yeah, that's pretty much about me. Let's quickly get started with 2 to 3 boring slides just to make sure we know what KPIs are, what are the important things we need to look into. So let's first begin with what are KPIs. Everyone knows it's key performance indicators. And it's basically just a fancy way of saying that this is the number that you should focus or care about. So they're going to basically tell you if you're winning, you're losing, or you're just existing. So think of them like report headlines or your newspaper headlines. They have to be quick, sharp, and straight to the point. So just a quick definition that a KPI is basically a measurable metric that measures the performance of your specific aspect of your business, the main important thing that you need to understand that it's always against something. Either it's against your goals or objectives. So always keep that in mind. KPIs are measurable metrics of some specific aspect against its goals or minds. Next, why KPIs are essential? We know everyone just keeps talking about KPIs. It's really important to know why they are essential. Basically essential because they help you identify areas of improvement, helps you track performance, and make data-driven decisions. By setting KPIs, you can focus on what matters more to your business, and you can prioritize your efforts toward that growth and success. Because quick analogy right here is without KPIs, you're basically going on a road trip with no GPS and you're just hoping for the best. So decision makers do not want to dig through pages of data or your Excel files. They just want to look at a number and immediately decide that, hey, this number is great, we are doing great. Or hey, this number is not really good. We really need to set up a meeting and discuss this stuff. So this is why KPIs are really essential. Moving on, how to select KPIs. So this is a question a lot of people keep asking me, that there are so many KPIs that I can put out there. How do I select KPIs? You can say that select KPIs is not like picking topics on pizza. So when we order a pizza, we think the more toppings we get, the better it is. But when it comes to KPI, that is not the fact. It is really important to select best KPIs for the dashboard. When I select KPIs, I tend to use the SMART framework, wherein S stands for specific or clearly defined and focused on a single goal or a single area. M stands for measurable, easy to quantify with the data that we have. A stands for attainable. The KPI should be realistic and achievable based on all the other data that you have. R stands for relevant. The KPI should be relevant, should be aligned with your business priorities and business objectives. T stands for time bound. The KPIs that you're going to select should always be measured within a defined time frame, either daily, monthly, quarterly, yearly, anything that works for you. So keep this in mind whenever you're using a KPI. Make sure it ticks all the check boxes of the SMART framework. Quickly moving on to the anatomy of a KPI card. Now let's dissect a KPI card. According to me, every good KPI card should include the following. First is a clear label or a context title, so that we know what are we talking about, what the number is about. And then it should always have a big, bold metric value. So this metric value is your actual number that you want to showcase to your clients, boss, manager, whosoever your target is. Maybe you can say we can have like a trend indicator. This can just be a small number with a small icon, but you will see ahead in the session that how much impact these numbers and the small trend indicators have. And for a bonus, it's not just trend indicators, it can always be a small graph that you see. And then for bonus, we can say that a comparison to a previous period or goal really makes a difference. So while we are actually creating these KPI cards on Power BI, you will get to know what difference it makes. Next question that I keep getting asked is, where do I place these KPI cards? What I would say is put them where the eyes go first, because KPI cards are really, really helpful. It's either the top left or the top center. That's a prime real estate for all the KPI cards. The reason behind is most people, leaving aside cultural differences, we tend to read from left to right and top to bottom. So that's where our eyes go first, and that's where the KPI should be placed. But just think like your dashboards to be like newspapers. You do not want the breaking news to be at the bottom of a newspaper. You always want it to be on the top. And that's the reason KPI should always be placed either on the top left, top center, anywhere works. Quick thing that reminds me is whenever you create a dashboard, just think that it's like a storybook. So you're always going to go flip pages from left to right to go for the story. And then you're going to read your dashboards from top to bottom for the flow of the dashboard. So always keep that in mind when you create your dashboards. Quick study results that I want to share with you is, one second, let me just get rid of, yeah. There's the Tableau research. So you all of you know Tableau, the rivals of Power BI, or you and the Tableau research and design. They hosted a conference wherein they set up a real-time research activity, and they called this as the dashboard eye tracking station. The question they had was very simple. Can we predict where people look at dashboards where in the dashboard they've never seen it before? So if I'm looking at a dashboard for the first time, where do my eyes go? And the heat map that you just see on your screen, I know, I mean, it looks really ugly, but bear with me. There's just a heat map that shows that people, the highlighted areas on the heat map show that these are the areas that drag the user's attention. So the users tend to start from the top left corner. So you see on the top left how you have uh, a darker shade of the heat map, and then eventually when you keep getting at the bottom, they start focusing on the bottom right. So this is how the eyes of a human travels when they look at a dashboard for the first time. Quick video that I want to share is, so I'll just play this video. Let me just talk about it first. So this video is very interesting because one of the most striking patterns that they saw was the visual attention was paid more when the numbers were larger in size. And then dashboards with larger numbers showed concentration of visual attention directly on the big number. So this actually happened very early in the viewing sequence. That is the first time you viewed something. So if you have a big important number, make it bold. I'm going to play a video, and what you're going to see is, say your eyes are closed and you're going to open your eyes. This is where your eyes go first. So just playing this video, you see how on opening the eyes, the first eyes went on to the larger numbers and then kept traveling and then immediately wanted to end the dashboard to the bottom right. So this is how our eyes perceive these big numbers. So always remember that big numbers really matter. Next, it's really important to put important things first. So this is a study that I want to support. Like I keep telling, put the important things first. This is a study that actually supports that. The sequence of the presentation matters, and the most important thing should always be presented first. That's because users pay more attention to the things that are located on the top. Either it could be the left or the center, anything works. Another quick notification is, if they see a repetitive set or a repetitive pattern, they tend to pay less attention over time. So just quick example, if you have a long table, you go to read just first 3 or 4 rows, and then you keep skipping to the bottom. So that's when they see repetitive data, people tend to skip. Also, they will read the first part, scan through all the other part, and then end by reading the bottom of the dashboard. I think second last or last slide. Quick do's and don'ts about KPI. So this is something that I gathered by looking at a lot of dashboards, reviewing and helping out people create Power BI reports. First thing is group KPIs together logically. If they belong together, keep all of them together. Do not spread KPIs here and there. Next is make sure KPI cards are distinct. Like I said, when I look into the dashboard, the KPI card should stand out. Do not have the same font size to the entire report. The KPI cards, you can make it a little bold, maybe add an icon or make it a little fancy so that they are distinct. Next, a common question that I keep asked is how many KPIs are ideal? I would say that 3 to 5 is the magic number. Just stick to 3 to 5, you're good to go. Next, no scrolling should be needed. So this is something that I see, that you have KPI cards and they're not aligned or formatted well, because of which there's a scroll bar that comes up. No one is going to go to your KPI card and scroll it. So make sure there is no scrolling. Adjust your font size and alignment accordingly. Next comes avoid hiding the KPIs in tabs or pages. I saw a couple of dashboards wherein people want me to click something so that the KPIs are visible. No one wants to do that. The KPIs should always be static and fixed to your dashboard. So keep these tips in mind when you create your KPIs. And that's pretty much about the slides. Let's jump into Power BI and hope the demo gods are good with me. Let me just share my Power BI screen. Just give me 1 second. Any questions, please pop it in the chat. We can have a chat about it later. Uh, quick confirmation, is my Power BI screen visible?
Yeah, please proceed.
Perfect, great. Okay, So what I'm going to do is let me just get you introduced to a simple data model that I have, a very simple data model about sales. So just country, item type, order date, order ID, blah, blah, blah. So I am just going to use this one table and then the date table that we have, a small calendar table, and we're going to create some interesting KPIs out of it. And yeah, I'm going to show you two techniques. The first technique is for people in organizations where preview features are not supported, so they want you to stick to the native, generally available visuals. And the next group we are going to cover is for all the organizations where preview features are enabled, and we're going to play around a little with the new card visual. The first thing what I am going to talk about is how I can create a beautiful KPI card using native visuals. So what you see on the screen is what I'm going to teach you right now. I just have it there for my reference, but I'm going to build everything from scratch for you. So let me just get this set up. Perfect. So the first thing, like I said, a KPI should always have a big number. So I am going to go ahead and add the KPI card. So this is the KPI card that you see, which has 1, 2, 3. That's a native KPI card, which is generally available, can be pushed to production without any issues. So like I said, I'm going to talk about KPI. So I want to tell the user, I want to show the user my total sales. Before that, quick tip. So if you see in my data pane, you see I have a separate measure table. I highly recommend whenever you have, I mean, a lot of tables, create a separate measure table with all the measures with display folders in it. So you see how I have a lot of folders in it. So I tend to segregate them, like all my KPIs are in the KPIs folder. All the KPIs that I create for the visualization purposes, say like for arrows or for colors, are under the visualization. And then if you have any constants, like you don't want to use arrows again and again, you can always have those in a separate display folder. So just a quick tip to stay organized. Let me just collapse it. Great. So let's get started with, like I said, I'm going to add a simple KPI, which is my total sales. If someone wants to see the measure, it's simple sum of total sales. And also throughout the session, I'll give you quick tips of how you can remember DAX. So pay attention. Any questions, put it in the chat. So like you see, I've added my KPI card, a big, huge number. Let's play around with the formatting a bit. So what I am going to do is get rid of the category label. Instead, I want to add in a category title and say, let's say this is, let's name it as net sales. I don't want to keep using the word total. And then just aligning a little bit. Going to go ahead and play around with the size. Quick tip right here is if you're a person who's not used Power BI a lot and you struggle in searching what you want to play around with, or if you're trying to find out how do I reduce the size of this particular value, one suggestion to you is always think in terms of, in simple English terms. Your goal here is to reduce the size of this particular value. So just go to the search option in the format and type maybe font size, or I mean just type size. You will automatically get all the possible available size details. And then since I said I want to change the size of the value, pick where you have the word value and play around with the font size or the font family. So quick tip here, make sure you do use your search bar in the format option. Another quick tip here, I'll say, since I wanted to play with the size, there are two ways how we people generally do it. So I go to my size, I use the up arrows, I use the down arrows, do a clickety click, and then you have the click 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 sounds. Or what you do is you randomly keep putting numbers till you feel you're comfortable. Instead, what you could do is click that font size, and then I'm just going to show my mouse. And the mouse has that scroll button in the center, right? Keep scrolling up and down. You see how it's easy for me to change the size. Don't really have to hear to the clickety clicks. So make sure you use this. I really like this tip, and I use it all the time. And then perfect. So this is aligned. So I have what my metric is about. I have my particular metric. Quick thing here, if I want to make it more beautiful, we can go ahead and add an icon. I'm just going to add an icon, and then I'm going to talk about, I am so sorry, I should have kept this ready before, but yeah, guys, it's 6 o'clock in the morning for me, so bear with me. Uh, this should, yeah, perfect. I have some icons, just using a random icon right here. And then you can add an icon to make it a little pretty. So this is what we people generally tend to do. One good thing about is, yeah, it's good. I have my direct metric screaming at my face that the net sales is 1.74 million. Now, the most important thing right here is I'm not getting any value out of it. As a CEO, I do not know if I'm doing good or if I'm doing bad or is there something I need to do. That's because have nothing. I don't have a trend. I don't have, like you can say, I do not have any extra insight that I'm getting out of it. So what people generally tend to do is maybe add a trend indicator. A trend indicator like this that you see is generally just keeps telling me, so this is according to months, it tells me that in the first half of the year it does really good and then it keeps decreasing, so maybe a trend indicator. Quick way of how you could do that is, so let me tell you, so if you see this particular line chart, do you see how the highest point is marked as green marker and the lowest has a red marker? This cannot be done very easily using the line chart, because let me just show you. If I have a line chart with I'm going to use my total sales and then use my calendar table for the month. Great. So when I have this line chart, and let me go to the markers, since the markers are colored. When I go to markers and enable it, you see I do not have any FX. I do not have any conditional formatting available so that I can highlight the maximum or minimum. But there's a workaround how you could do that. What I generally tend to do is I start with a simple bar chart or a column chart. This is, I think, this is called the column chart. And then get rid of all the unnecessary elements, so all the axes. So I'm getting rid of the title, getting rid of the x-axis, getting rid of the y-axis. The reason being, I just want to focus on the trend. And then I'm going to go to the columns and use FX here. So you see, whenever you see FX in Power BI, keep in mind that's called conditional formatting. You can apply rules and format according to some particular condition. Hitting FX. Quick tip here is I'm going to stick to rules, selecting my total sales. So my aim right here is if it's 0%, so basically if it's the least, show it to me in red. And if it is the most, so if it's 100%, show it to me in green. Hit OK. So you see how the maximum and the minimum are highlighted in red and green. Now, what you have to do is quickly change the type of this chart. So either if you're using on object interaction, you will get something like this, or all you have to do is go to your build and just click out your line chart. So you see how now automatically I have my red and I have my greens and reds highlighted. And then a quick thing that you really have to do is change the color of the line. I don't want it in blue to black. That's pretty much it. So you have a beautiful, oh, I just clicked something. I'm so sorry about it. You have a beautiful trend chart ready right in front of you. Do your adjustings. And then one quick thing you really need to do is drag everything together, do a right click and group everything together. And you have a beautiful KPI card visual ready to take it one step further. And you want to say, you want to be, you feel fancy, you can just add like a shape around it. Way to switch off the fill, playing around with the bold, reducing the size for the border. Let me just make it a little gray, maybe increase the thickness. And then again, I'm going to just group everything together. And you see how I have a KPI card ready right in front of me. One second, let me just get rid of this. Yeah, I have a KPI card right in front of me. And then I have just a simple slice. I just wanted to show you how it looks. So where I am navigating, you see everything changes. That's good to go. Now, one thing you need to really note here is, let me just copy this visual and paste it in a new page. Okay, another quick tip here. So sometimes when you do Control C and Control V, things do not really work well. So I just tend to use the copy paste option from this clipboard option. Now, when you have this KPI card, so if you really count the number of elements that I used to create this KPI card is one, the icon, two, the normal card, three is a line chart, and then four, I have a border. So if I go to my selection pane and enable my group, you see how I have one, two, three, four elements used to create this one KPI card. The drawback of this is every time I'm going to load my report, say if I have 4, 8, 12, 16, like four KPI cards, I'm going to have 16 elements just for the KPI card. So whenever I'm going to, it makes the report heavy, and whenever I'm going to open the report, everything is going to load again and again. So this is one drawback you should always keep in mind when you opt for these sort of visuals. These are good when you have just two visuals or the numbers, the data model is really small. Now, for people who are really interested to know more or how you could improve these type of KPI cards, I have something for you. Like I said, just showing the number 1.74 million doesn't make sense. But what if I can show them a target value, or say I can show them a context value which helps me compare. Now, what you see on the screen is the same KPI card that I created behind, but just has one extra element which tells me the sales of the previous year. So currently I am highlighted at 2017. So 2017 has 1.74 million, while at the previous year 2016 stands at 1.81 million. So when I add this extra value here, I have something I can compare my current sales to. So now as a CEO, I really can be sad that, or I can conclude that, okay, I mean, 1.74 million is not bad, but my previous year I did better. So, and then I can take action accordingly to make sure I create more profits. Quick way of doing this. So generally what happens is people are really scared of DAX. So I just want to make DAX a little bit interesting. Quick thing, always just keep this on top of your mind that whenever you want to calculate the previous year, this is the DAX you want to go with. Very simple. Use calculate, use my total sales, because you're going to compare your current sales. I mean, you're finding the previous year, right? So you need to know the current total sales. Use the word previous year. Put in your date from your calendar table. That's pretty much it. So that's all you have to do to find the previous sales. Don't be scared to play around with the DAX. So what I'm going to do is, let me just copy the particular. Let's copy this. Copying this here, pasting it right here. And then another quick thing is, when you are dragging and dropping all your KPI cards or any visual, sometimes it acts really weird. Or when I have visuals grouped, it gets out of the group. So now, like, this is a classic example. You see how I moved it, and the only the border changed, like the entire card element did not move. So quick tip right here is, when you're moving visuals, let me just first rectify this. Great. When you're moving visuals, you see these three dots. You will always see three dots. Just use these three dots to move around. That makes things really easier. Okay. Now let me just delete this and paste it again. Great. So now what I'm going to do is add context to this particular KPI. Very easy, using another card visual, putting in my previous year, what is it, sales, right? Yeah, so I'm going to put in my previous year sales, doing a little formatting, since I don't want it to stand out high. And remember, I said there should be just one big bold number, which we already have. So let's get rid of the big bold number and get like a very simple, um does 15 work? Yeah, 15 works. And then also switching off the background quickly. And then, yeah, perfect. So once you're happy with it, just place it wherever you want. Now, just placing this number is not going to make sense, because I'm not going to know what this is about. So I need to put something called previous year. Just add in a text box with a simple previous year, play around with the formattings, and then just place it right here so that it tells me it's a previous year. And most important thing is, make sure you keep grouping stuff again and again together, so that you don't get uh, I mean, so that it doesn't get moved unknowingly. So now what I did is just added an extra context to the KPI, which makes it more insightful. So from this particular KPI, what can you conclude? What was the, okay, I'll get back to your question just after the session. So three things I can conclude. One, my total sales, current sales of the year 2017 is 1.74 million. Two, this is a trend, the monthly trend, wherein you see the first half seems like doing good, the second half needs some more attention. And then we can have another KPI which says that, okay, 1.81 million was previous year, so currently it's 1.74, so I'm under loss. So these are three insights that you could get from this particular KPI card. So taking it one step further, now it was easy for me to find out 1.81 million, 1.74 million. But say, imagine the numbers are really huge, and your boss does not want to see 0.74 million, wants to see the exact precise number, say 1.78, 178, 9, 10, 11, 12. So he wants to see like the entire number. Instead of making the person guess or do mathematical calculation about what the difference is, we can add something called a sales growth. Simple, what you're going to do is subtract your total sales and your previous year sales. That's going to give you either a positive number or a negative number. It's negative, you know that you really need to set up a meeting with your team and discuss what you can do. If it's positive, you can go party. So this is something which you could add, which is called a sales growth. DAX formula, very simple, since it's growth, or you can say a sales difference. All I'm going to do is total sales minus previous year sales. Again, all you have to do is drag in your simple KPI card and then put in your sales growth, do a couple of formatting. Okay, I think I chose 15. Switching off the background. I think I need to reduce the size a little bit. And then just put it right next to it so that I know that minus, so I'm in minus, I really need to do something about it. And so this is how you could improve. So basically, take a basic KPI card, add context to it, and improve its value. Next, what we're going to do is make it look more pretty, aesthetically pretty, and also to highlight points. So what I'm doing right here is, let me just go ahead and pick this particular card. I'm going to paste it right here. And then what I'm going to do right now is, you see, I have the growth, which is which has like a red background. So basically, when I'm going to look at this KPI, once I see the red, I know that some action needs to be taken. I don't really care about the exact number. It's red, some action needs to be taken. Quick way of doing it using DAX is this. First, let's go through the DAX. Very, very easy. If my sales growth, the sales difference is more than zero. So basically, if it's positive, it has to be green in color. If it's not, it has to be red in color. Now, you might note this thing that I did not use hex codes here. Instead, I went ahead and used my pre-created measures, which are dark green and dark red. Let's head back to my measure table and let me just show you the colors. What is it? Dark green, right? So once you see the dark green, I have my hex codes stored as separate measures inside my measure table. One good thing about doing this is reusability. So whenever I create a new report, I just copy paste this measure table, the Timdal, so that it automatically gets into all my reports. So it helps in reusability. If you do not want this, you want to stick to the hex codes. Instead of using the word dark green, just copy paste the hex codes here, you will get that. But my suggestion is always go with something like this. It helps you keep reusing elements. And in every page, you don't really have to keep looking for the hex code. So that's one tip from my side. So once I have this color set, if it's positive, show it in green. If it's negative, show it in red. All you have to do is click on your particular card visual. And then since I'm talking about background, like I said, do not search for background in the visuals. Just use the search option in the format. Type in background. You have background enabled here. Go ahead, conditionally formatting it, right? Because I'm applying a condition of positive or negative, hitting this, and then the name of this is growth color comparison. So selecting a again, do not go searching for all the measures inside that. If you pretty much know it, just use the, oh sorry, growth. What happened? Yeah, just use the search option. It really helps. Growth color comparison, hit okay. So you see how I have red background right now. And then I'm going, just for accessibility purposes, going to change the size, text the color into white. Now, let me just show you a quick comparison. Okay, yeah, this is perfect. So when I was in 2017, what you noticed is earlier it was 1.81. So there was a negative, there was a drop, so it's a negative. When I move on, it says that I have made a profit. It's not no more a negative, it's green. So makes it look good. CEO is happy, everyone is happy. So this is a quick tip of how just by changing the background, you could add extra value. Now let's take this one step further. And what I'm going to do is add in a percentage. So here, since the numbers are pretty much close, it's okay for me to understand that, okay, 13,000 profit or say 50,000 loss. But say if you want, if it's in a percentage term, isn't it easy for you to understand what's going on? For example, when I say 2017, instead of telling that entire number that there's a loss of 50,000 dollars, it's easy for me to understand that there's a loss of minus 4 percentage. How do you do this? It's pretty simple. Since it's in percentage, you always know that it has to be a part of something. So basically, you should use a divide. What I'm going to do right now is using my sales difference. You don't have to write total sales minus previous year sales. You can use the sales difference. And then I'm going to compare it with my previous sales to get the particular number. And then one important thing you need to do is convert into percentage. What I generally tend to do is once I write this simple, I don't do by 100 or into 100. I just use the formatting percentage option and then set the number of formatting you need. This automatically converts it into a percentage. So nothing complicated. I just pasted this from my previous. Okay, I did not copy the correct visual. Let me copy this. So this is the particular visual. Copy. Oh, did I group all this together? No, I did not. Okay, let me just group this together. Copying this, pasting it right here. Okay. So what I'm going to do right now is instead of this value, I am just going to replace it with the percentage to make it more easy for me to understand that there's been a loss of minus 4 percentage. Now, if you think for some people, they don't want to add this bright red color in their dashboards, a subtle way of improving is this. So what I tend to do is I keep the background light. So just playing around with the colors. Let me just go to background. Okay, let me just show you the before light color. Yes. So what I've done is instead of remember last time it was dark green and dark red, this time it's just light green and light red. So I what I do is I just change the background to a lighter red and make the text a darker red. So this is a quick example of how you can make it more subtle. Let me just show you how you do it. Oh, I'm so sorry. I have to go here. So the background color is light. I have a DAX for that. So let me just go here, Y-O-Y, and then choose the light color comparison, hit OK. Okay, I just changed the size, sorry. Y-O-Y, dark color comparison. So you see my text completely vanished because I made it dark. And then I'm going to go ahead and change my background to a lighter shade of red to make it readable. That's it. That's pretty much it. So just you can have two variations. People who do not like bold colors, this is a good option. Now let's take it another step further. Now you see how it was easy for me to understand minus 3.97% rather than reading the number minus 50.56K. Now what I'm going to do is add a small up arrow and down arrow to make things easier for me to understand whether it's been a growth or whether it's been a decline. To be honest, doesn't really make much difference in reading, but helps you understand at a glance if it's doing good or if it's doing bad. Just quickly showing you examples of how very easy for me to understand an up arrow and down arrow. The main motive here is to make you understand the DAX is not tough. DAX formatting using DAX is not tough. Let's go through the arrow. How do you write DAX for an arrow? Very, very simple. So what I did is, remember the YOY percentage that I created? I am just formatting it to have one place of decimal. You don't really have to do this. You can stick with the two, you're good. But I want to just show one place of decimal. Then I am going to write a DAX for the arrow. Very simple. If it's less than zero, basically, if it's negative, show me a down arrow. If it's positive, show me an up arrow. That's pretty much it. Best way of using an arrow is, like I said, use measures to create it. So this is the unique character for the down arrow, and this is the unique character for up arrow. Quick tip right here, if you're feeling little fancy, you do not want to use unicar, or you do not know how to use it, or you do not want to go copy and paste arrow images. Let me just get rid of the measure bar. Yeah, you do not want to copy speak from arrow images. This is a tip for all the Windows user. You have the Windows icon on your keyboard, right? So hit that and hit full stop. So Windows icon plus full stop will open up. Why doesn't it open up? It opens up uh, a emoji selector. I am not sure why. Is it not permitted right here? It generally opens up a emoji selector. I do not know why it's working, but I mean, anyone, if you just try, just open a notepad, do a Windows icon and do a full stop, you will get an emoji selector that gets opened. I think it's an inbuilt feature of Power BI. I am not sure why it doesn't work. Anyway, so I have a simple DAX just to show up arrows and down arrows. What I am going to do is just put it right here, format your colors accordingly. You will improve the look and feel of your KPI card. Next, what I am going to do is just showing you quick examples, quick variations of the KPI card that we created. So the first place what you see here, right here, is instead of using the chart on the say right side, what I have done is used it below it. So I mean, makes it a little more space, saves a lot of space and looks a little different. And then if you are not comfortable, I mean, you do not want to just keep using line charts everywhere, you can even go with the bar charts or the column charts. Make sure that the formatting is what matters. So in order to get this particular chart, it was not really easy. You have to do a couple of formatting, especially with the layout. So by default, it will look really ugly. Play around with the settings under the layout to make it look cleaner. So I think by default, Power BI will give you something like this, like really, really on the, I mean, it's like to the face. In order to make it a little more user friendly, just increase the space between the bars. That works. If you want to take it a one step further, I really like to use this to show quick comparisons. Let me just increase the size and just show you what it looks like. So what I'm trying to do right here is it gives me a previous value and the current value. So if you see total sales and previous month sales, so this was done just by a simple stacked column chart. And if you see, I just have my month on the x-axis, total sales and previous sales. Good way of showing what the difference is. For example, if you see this particular month, June, my current month did really, really well. But in the month of May, my previous month did well. The current year did not do well. So just quick tip on that. And you could even use this as a trend indicator. So these are small variations that I wanted to show. Quickly, any questions I am ready to take. And then I do have another, I mean, I do have new card visual that I want to cover. Okay, I say Vicky Patak as mentioned that we need to use the semicolon. Let me just quickly try it. So if I do this and the semicolon, nah, it didn't work for me. I think there's some issue on my side. Anyway, ignore it. Any questions? Suparna says DAX is not tough, but calculate makes DAX tough. No, that's true. I agree. Absolutely. Vicky also asks actual size in view tab, the right approach. Okay, Suparna answered the question for me. Thank you. Also, pretty much. Yeah. Um, what is the most used font format? So, okay, let me just tell you this thing that one thing you have to remember when you create dashboards is make sure that all the font is from the same font family. Let me quickly show you what I mean by that. Okay, let me just click this. And then Power BI doesn't really do well with a lot of fonts, but let me just show you. When you see the font family starting with the same names like Arial, Arial Black, Arial Code, that means they belong to the same family. Similarly, you have Segoy Bold, UI Light, and Semi Bold. So all these start from the same Segoy. So this is the same family. Stick to one particular family. My suggestion and my to go font family is Segoy. So what I do is when I don't want to highlight something, I use Segoy UI. And then if I want to highlight it a little bit, semi-bold. And if I want to really highlight it, I use bold. So what happens is automatically the thickness of the text gets adjusted. So if it's a title, use semi-bold. If there's a KPI that you want to be highlighted, use a bold and not just use UI. So that's my favorite to go font format. Okay, let's proceed further. So this all that I showed you right now was just KPI cards using the native visuals, grouping them together. I also told you about the drawback. If you remember, when we go to the selection pane, that one particular KPI card having 4 to 5 visuals. Now, let me introduce you to the new card visual. So this is something which is in the preview feature. So in order to enable the preview feature, for people who do not know, you need to go to your report settings. And quick tip right here, you do not have to go to file, you don't have to go to options and settings to move on to your report settings. On the bottom right corner, you see this gear icon. Just hit that gear icon and you will be able to see, oh, what did I do? 1 second, guys. Perfect. So once you click that, hit the gear icon on the bottom right, you will see that report settings open up. Just go on to preview features and you have something called new card visual. Make sure to enable this so that you get you can view the view of new card visual. This is how the new card visual looks like. So you see, I have the 1, 2, 3 with a little lightning or thunderstorm symbol. That's the new card visual. The lot of things I really like about the new card visual, I will just show you as we go. Let's get started with the basic new card visual. Very, very simple. Just hit the new card visual and then add the KPI just like you would do. We are still sticking with the total sales. Let me open my KPI, total sales. Okay, pretty much looks very, very similar to what we just saw in the old card visual. Going to do the similar sort of formatting. So I want to reduce the size of the values. So I directly went into values. Like I said, stick to one particular, they wanted more smaller, one particular font family. And then I am going to change the size of the label as well. Just playing around with the formatting, don't really want to talk much about it, don't want to waste your time as well. And then changing the size. Perfect. So what I did is just change the size. And remember when I was using the old card, I mean the old method that I used, I had to import an icon that added extra element to my report. The best part about the KPI card is it can have an inbuilt icon inside the KPI card. So in the format, you will see the option called images, enable it, and then enable your image. So good things I really like. One, image, you can import any image that you like. So if you have a lot of icons sitting in your laptop, which I do, so I have like a lot of pre-downloaded icons, or you could even use any image URL. So if you find any image on Google, just do a right click, copy the link address, copy image address, and you can paste it right here. For the demo purposes, let's just stick to the old classic method of selecting the icon. So yes, initially it looks really bad, but you can do a lot of formattings. The first formatting which you could see is change the position. You can have it on the left size. Before that, let me just change the size for you so that it looks a little more presentable. Great. You can have it on the left, you can have it on the right, you can have it above, you can have it below, anywhere you like. My classic go-to is either the left or the right. So I'm going to stick to left for now. So that's it. That's pretty much I wanted to show you about the card visual for now. Quick interesting formattings that you could do is change this, I mean, play around with the size between the image and the label that I tend to generally do, and then play around with the image size. One quick thing to note here is you will get used to all the formattings only when you play around more. So if you think I'm going in a faster pace, feel free to stop me. I just have practice, so I just keep clicking things. You see how I have a border automatically. Now, let me just copy this. Excuse me, putting it in a new page and opening my selection pane. You see how all these elements just contribute to one particular element inside my selection pane. So this is considered as one particular element. So this is the reason why I prefer the new card visual. Instead of having 4 to 5 separate elements, I was easily able to create using just one element. So that is one quick thing. Another quick thing that I want to tell you why I like using is, now imagine I want to create something like this, wherein I have my total sales. What is this? Anyway, and then I have my total units. So I have two KPIs together. If I have to do something like this using my native KPI, what I would do is, first I will have this particular KPI. So this is my particular KPI. Now, if I want to do total units, I am going to create another KPI card with the total units. So I have now two elements. But the good thing about uh, the new KPI card visual is you can keep adding the number of elements you want. So if you see here, I have total sales, I have total units. Maybe you want to add, what else do we add? Let me just add another total sales just in case. If I want to add another total sales, I can do that too. And you see how this is still a single element. Let me copy this, go back here and paste it so that I can show you, even though I have three different KPIs with three different icons. I mean, I can change the icon. I will just show you how I can do that. And go to my selection pane. It is still a single visual. So this is a quick thing to note. Uh, Now, let's quickly talk about quick ways of improving the look and feel of it. And let me just put it back from where I got it. Now, remember I told you just using a KPI card is not enough. You really need to add context in it. You want to add a reference to it. Since I mentioned the word reference, just directly go to reference labels, select which KPI I'm talking about, and drop the reference or the context you want. At this scenario, I want to compare it to my previous value. Once I drop it, Power BI by automatic default gives you something like this. Automatically added a reference label. Now let me copy this and paste it in this visual to show you that even though I added my previous year sales, in the selection pane, it is still a single visual. So that's a very good thing about the new card visual. Now, quick formatting options that are available on the reference labels can be found here. You can change the size of the title, play around with the colors, add more, maybe add conditional formatting, so and so. That can be done here using the reference labels. Another thing is if you do not really want, say, this separate backgrounds, you can even do that. You just have to go ahead and switch off your divider. So the divider is this particular thing. Once you switch off divider, you will see that the divider no longer comes. So this is something that I wanted to show you, that how you could add more context. Another very good thing is it's not that you can add just one reference or one context. You can add more than one context. For example, in this particular scenario, I am also going to drag and drop my percentage value that I created. So you see how I have my percentage value created. And the best part about this is you can format both the context separately. For example, the sales percentage, I wanted in a blue color. You could do that. You see how this particular label and this particular label is different. I mean, no one does that, but just want to show it to you for demo purposes. So this is a quick thing to note, that you can add more than one reference label. Another very good thing that Power BI recently did is, remember when I have to change, instead of showing sales YOY percentage, I want to show YOY percentage. What we generally tend to do is go ahead and change stuff here. If you change stuff here and say you resign from your organization, there's some other guy who comes in, it's going to be tough for him to find it because you've changed this name of the column. I mean, obviously he can see the tick sign and go ahead and find it, but it's going to take him an extra click. Instead of making changes here, Power BI has something called content, wherein it asks me whether you want to use the field name as it is, or you can even create your own custom. For example, I just created my own custom. So you see how my field name still remains total sales, but I was able to customize my particular title. So this is one quick thing I really like about Power BI's new card visual. So this pretty much it about the reference labels. Oh yeah, one more thing I wanted to show you is for people with OCD who do not like, I mean, numbers just sticking together, there is a very good option wherein, let me just go to all layouts. So you see how now it's on a layout format wherein I have my previous value and then my YOY percentage. You can even have it as columns together. In the rows, there is also an option of converting it to look like a table so that it's aligned properly. You can have what a lot of alignment options is. Feel free to play around with these formatting options to get more comfortable with things. My go-to is this. This is what I prefer to go. And if I really have something like smaller like this, I like to put stuff on the right side rather than the bottom. It really saves a lot of space. You can always go ahead and change the space between the title and the value as well. You'll find it in the settings. This is about the basics of the new card visual. Now I want to show you how you can improve the look and feel of the new card visual to make it more insightful, make it more aesthetically pleasing. So these are a couple of variations that I created using the same DAX that we used for the old card visual. Nothing new here, just playing around with the DAX. So the first three that you see on the screen is pretty much similar what we did there. So I'm not going to play around with that. But instead, I'm going to show you these three card visuals. Now, quick thing to note is, let me change the values. So you see when I change the values, the accent bar. So this bar which you see on the card is called the accent bar. That also changed the color. So when I click 2017, it became red because there has been a loss. But when I do 2018, it becomes green. Now, the way you could do that, so this is called an accent bar. Just go ahead and type accent bar. It'll automatically show you accent bar. Just enable it. You can play around with the location. Let me increase the width. So you can have it on the left, right, bottom, or top. I like going on the lefts more. And then play around with your width. And now comes the fancy part wherein you have to add your conditional formatting. Very easy. We already know the conditional formatting, like we already have the measures right here. Oh, sorry, I have to use the field value. And then going to visualization, and let's use, what do we use? The dark color comparison works. Oh no, I used the wrong one. Sorry. I have to use YOY. Yeah, because I have a percentage right here. So I have to use my YOY field. Sorry about that. Great. So just add an accent bar, change the color. Now, whenever I am going to change my values, you'll see that change too. So this is a quick example of how you could do that. Another interesting thing is changing the background colors of the values right here. Not really going to do it, but I'll just show you how you can do it. Very, very simple, very easy. Like I told you, just use the effects that I showed you. Next thing, what you could do is change the background of this particular reference color. So what you can do is just go to background here, use an FX, you will get that. And then let me just quickly show you when I do 2017, 2018, make sure if you're using a background color, go with a lighter color. Don't use that bright red. No one wants numbers shouting at your face. Quick examples of how you could improve it. Next, a really interesting feature about the new card visual is the small multiples. Let me just copy paste something from, okay, let me just copy paste this. Let's talk about the small multiples. So now imagine you have lot of categories that you want to show the total sales. You don't have to keep using visual level filters. For example, my aim here is I want to show the total sales of cereal, total sales of clothes, total sales of fruits. If I have to do that, generally what we tend to do is we use a card, we go to filters, we will add a filter cereal. And then I will copy paste this, change the filter to clothes, copy paste it, change the filter to fruits. That is a little hectic. Keep adding more elements to the Power BI report, makes it really heavy, which is something we do not want to do. So we have something called small multiples that is really, really interesting. Just need to add it into categories. So for this purposes, I am going to use the item type. Yes. Once I pull in and my item type, do you see how automatically I have three elements right now in my card? And let me just copy and show it to you that even though these are three elements in a single card, in the selection pane, it is always going to be one particular visual. So that's something really I really like about it. Then lot of formatting options available. First, let's talk about the multi-category layout. You can have it vertical, you can have it horizontal, you can have it as a grid. I like vertical stuff. And then you can have it as separate tiles. So you see now there's a space in between. So these are really act like different KPI cards, or you can even have it like a table right here. Play around with the borders, grid lines, not really want to waste a lot of time right here. These are a couple of variations that I wanted to create to show you that this was the vertical, this is the horizontal. And then what I did right here is just change the orientation of the category label. Not a good practice because no one wants to tilt their head to read this stuff, but just want to put it out there. And then something I also did was color coded the background of the food item type, the item types that need attention. So now if someone looks at this particular KPI card, now imagine this just has three, right? Now imagine this has 4 to 5 elements. And if I want to know that what are doing good and what are doing bad, all I have to do is just look at this particular color. Let me just change it for you and show that how dynamically it changes. So in the year 2019, it is easy for me to understand clothes did well, cereal and fruits need more attention. In 2018, fruits did well, but cereal and clothes need more attention. How you could do this is again simple. This is a background. Since I want to conditionally format it, I have to use FX. That's pretty much it. So use logic when you're creating such visuals really helps. So this is something that I really wanted to show my favorite thing about the new card visual. Now for all the people right here, for the advanced users, I really want to tell you that you can add charts inside this new card visual. This is something I've been playing around, and this itself is a whole new session. And if we have another session, something like this, I will make sure to create a presentation for this and submit my abstract. So what you see right here is you see a simple KPI number, you see an image, and you see two bar charts right here. Now, you might think that this is a bar chart, but let me just copy and paste it to show you that that's not a bar chart, that's an element. It is still an element of the card visual. Simple way of how you could do this is using DAX. I know for people who do not believe me, I'll just show you right now. So I've used DAX right here. So this is the DAX that I've used. Don't really want to go deep into it, but I mean, if anyone wants to talk about it, connect with me on LinkedIn, we can talk. And what I've done right here is used DAX. Using this DAX, so if you see, I have my CY current year sales bar, and then I have my previous year sales bar. I've used my other DAX DAX measures to reference into it. And you see how I was able to create a bar chart inside. So instead of calling this a bar chart, I tend to call it like mini charts. And the best part about this is you can actually play around with this. For example, if I'm going to do a full stop, I think it will show me full. Yeah, so you see how it shows me dots instead of showing me bars. Or let's even play around with it and say if I have my square brackets, hit enter, it shows me like progress bars, sort of this. So this is for the all the advanced users out there. You can add mini charts inside this. Trust me, this is not SVGs. This is simple DAX. You can also have SVGs. Feel free to play around. I haven't played around with it, but I think I do have. Okay, I did think I have an SVG right here, but I don't think so. I don't find it. Anyway, let's ignore that. And yeah, that's pretty much it from my side. Any comments, any questions? I'm up. And if you did like the session, learn something out of it, make sure to tell me on the comments. I'll be more than happy. And yeah, thank you so much. Thank you, Rajendra. Thank you to the entire team for conducting the session and for everyone who stayed up late. Thank you.
For you, it is early morning. Thank you so much
Yeah,
for giving the session.
no
Yeah,
problem.
it was very insightful, Lakshmi. Thank you.
Hmm. Thank you so much.
We have posted in the chat. So if you have any queries, guys, please connect with Lakshmi.
Perfect. And thank you for all the comments. Thank you, Suparna, for putting out all the links out there. I totally